Alright, so it's been over a month since we had our last major patch for Elder Scrolls Legends, and the developer has put out a letter from the developers right here, guys, and there's going to be some big changes to the game. Some really big rebalances. That's how the developer is trying to promote this at. This is a rebalance. They're not nerfs, they're rebalances, but we as players are going to call some of these nerfs. And let's take a look at some of the changes coming to the game right now. We'll make my camera a little bit smaller, and I'll give you guys my own opinions on some of these changes real quick, how they're going to affect certain types of decks, and my opinion on what they should also change in the future to balance this all out. Because right now they only picked 9 cards, and the 9 cards they picked are not even the 9 what I would consider the 9 most devastating cards in the game. I mean, like, there's definitely other cards you need to rebalance as well, but maybe they're just starting slow for now. But I'm like, if you're starting just with 9 cards right now, I mean, the games may not even be out of beta anytime soon. But let's not start off by complaining. Let's just actually look at this objectively and actually give my opinion. So off the bat, guys, you already see the picture right there. Crystal Tarot Crafter, one of the main cards for the Magical Intelligence decks. I like this card so much that I have a pure intelligence deck that I could win with. Like, that's insane that it just gets that strong. So I definitely did expect this card to get nerfed, and I'm not disappointed by this getting nerfed at all. And I even think the nerf of this card is not even that major. I do see some other people already saying that it should have been at least 2-1. I actually don't think so. I think the nerf on Crystal Tower Crafter as a 1-1 to start off with is perfectly fine. Like, this card can get power up very quickly. You can use stuff like water on this card very early on. There's a lot of ways to keep it alive enough to get it really strong, especially if you're playing the right type of deck. So I actually have zero problems with Crystal Tower Craft nerf right here, or rebalance. I'm going to let this be a rebalance because of the plain simple fact that even though I play this card, I'm okay with this. I'm perfectly okay with it, and the justification from the developer makes perfect sense. They feel like it gets strong so quickly that later on there's creatures that really can't trade with it. Like, if you let this stay on the field by turn 6, this thing could be so powerful that there may not be a lot of creatures that could trade with it to really get rid of it. So that is a real big problem, especially if you don't have something that could silence a creature from either the endurance style or from playing a red with another creature that could have something that could, like Bone Bow, that could silence the creature. So I understand this. But then we come into here, which I just don't understand. Dune Smuggler? Like the Dune... what? Who thought these cards were an issue? Like, I can't even remember anywhere in the forums or anybody ever saying like, oh my god, the Dune Smugglers moving these creatures from one lane to the next was a problem. And then what? So they're changing this one up right here. They're making it sure that you can always keep a creature in that. So if I want to move let's see, the burglar, the big Khajiit, from the right lane to the left lane, I have to put Dune Smuggler in the right lane to move him to the left lane. So I can't put everything in the left lane and move everything over there. But I'm like, that's what Pilfers were kind of all about, but keeping creatures, moving them and keep them alive, because a lot of the creatures you would use with this are really damn well weak. Like, they don't have a lot of trading ability. They already start off weak with low defense, and they don't survive long enough. So being able to move these creatures and keeping Dune Smuggler on the field to have his effect stay in effect for a few turns is going to be really important. So now if you're in a situation where you got to put Dune Smuggler on the left side, now he's not in cover, trying to move a creature into the right lane, now you got to be like, fuck, now in the next turn I'm going to lose Dune Smuggler. So even if you would have gotten hit by your opponent and then gain a prophecy and then being able to move another creature and get the effect of Dune Smuggler again, that's not going to happen, because now it's going to be so much easier to kill this card that was so easy to kill Dune Smuggler already. Like, it's a one health creature. Like, it's a 1 health creature, and it doesn't power cards up that freaking much. Like, there was so many times that I used Dune Smuggler on, like, Fighters Guild Recruit. I think that's the Pacific one, the one that's a guard. There was so many times I used it on that card just to keep that alive, but now I won't be able to really do that as much, because then I'm going to leave it open because it only has 1 health to the creature in that lane, unless it's in the shadow lane. So I'm really worried what this is going to be doing to all my freaking Pilfer decks, which, as you guys know, my main deck to get me to Legends all these months I've been playing the game has been decks that were very focused around pilfering in the late game. And it's a mid-tier deck, but Pilferin and people like Dune Smuggler are definitely there to help me out. And I wanted to keep Dune Smuggler alive, and I feel like it's just a card that's going to die so easily again because both of these cards have 1 health already. Like, I really hope sometime in the future when they rebalance the game again or add more cards, they make, you know, Monk a little more viable. I'm not saying it's not viable. I know there's people like, oh, it's fine. I'm just saying this hurts to me. I just think it hurts and it's unexpected. I think this was the biggest loss for me as a player in this new rebalance. Well, let's move on from there, guys, to other stuff. And yeah, guys, Pylon Tribune, a card that I am very surprised to see. I mean, and this one specifically literally makes me can't play certain decks because it's just the ways I've made decks. You guys know I make millions of decks. There's certain decks that I actually have very much based around this certain kind of control decks. There's other decks that I'm based around coming back. I want to get hit and then come back later on after I draw a bunch of cards. Now, the developer has said that they don't want that to really happen. If you take getting hit, they don't want you to be able to come back really quickly because you're already getting cards. And I understand that. I understand that. But I never thought Pylon Tribune was one of those cards that was OP in the sense that, wow, look at that. It instantly turned the game around and made the person win. No, I never thought that happened. It will give them a chance to survive a few more turns, but if you're already in a situation that you're going to lose, having Pylon Tribune just helps you out surviving a few more turns. It's not going to guarantee you winning. So I think it just switching down to drain for one specific creature is a little bullshit because first of all, willpower, if you're playing willpower, there are not that many creatures with so great damn damage that you're going to be able to like, oh yeah, I'm going to put it on this creature and it's going to have 8 attack right away and be able to do 8 damage and give me 8 health back. No, a lot of the creatures don't have 8 or even 7 damage, attack. So I'm like, whatever you use him with, you're going to have to pick very smartly because it's going to be kind of dangerous. Maybe if you use him a Pilfer Monk or something. Well, you don't even do that, but I guess you could attack twice, but you already have the Burglar. Let's move on from there. It's just really weird that the developer really feels like gaining health needs to be nerfed. Because this is like the health potions were nerfed before, so they went up to 2 Magicka. And when they went up to 2 Magicka from 1, like, I don't see nobody using these shits really in rank anymore. Like, not at all. Like, it does not happen. It really does not happen. Like, them potions that give you 5 health don't get played very much anymore. Definitely don't. So, I don't think the developers really want people to be gaining back too much health from these cards. They prefer you if you get hit, you should just stay hit, and I think they want the game to be fast. I think they want it to be more aggro. I don't feel like all these changes doesn't feel like it stops anything that's too aggressive other than stuff like Crystal Tower Crafter. Because I never thought Dune Smuggler made anything so strong that it makes things move out of the way and survive longer, but it didn't give him that much more than +1 most of the time, but whatever, let it be. Now, I'm pretty sure nobody expected this. Like, Snake Tooth Necklace? Like, really? This card? Like, and let me show you what I'm thinking right here. Let me open something else up for you guys real quick. There you go. Now you can see it better. So, like, this was a deck that I played with recently. It's called Alter and Change. This was a deck that somebody made on, what's it called again? Legends-Decks. And I shouted him out. I made a video showcasing this deck because I thought it was such a fun deck to play. It was a shackle deck using Altar of Despair and using cards like, right here, the Tormentor and Snake Tooth Necklace to gain health back because that gives you drain. And, his effect, if you use it with stuff like, what's it called again, Winter's Grasp, it all works together. But then, with the new nerf, that can't work for more than 1 turn. So, like, this complete deck that, like, has that strategy in there as its only real way to gain health is completely invalid. Like, a deck like that cannot use, sorry, let me switch it back, can't use a card like Snake Tooth Necklace anymore in the same exact way just because the drain effect has been gone and it only lasts for, well, 1 turn. I guess it is there, but it's only for 1 turn. And the reason they changed it to summon is because of the plain and simple fact that cards like that 6 costs Illusionary Mimic would actually gain drain from this card right here. So now they want to take that away. But I would have thought it would have been perfectly fine to just add the summon thing onto the card, but leaving it being an item that actually gives you continuing effect. I don't know, man. This is going to change up so many decks that use this card. And to me, as somebody who doesn't use it in that many decks, it's really become unplayable for me because I definitely don't want the 1/1. Like, for a 2-cost card that gives you 1 attack and 1 defense, there's lots of other cards that could do that. And a lot of the ways you can get powered up that way. So that's not going to be really that necessary. I guess if you're playing in a situation for agility that you really just need some help that one turn, I guess this will work out late game. But right now, for at least for me, guys, I'm going to say that Snake Tooth Necklace is the only card so far that's, to me, is almost unplayable after this nerf. Just to me. I mean, I'm going to have to get into the game to really try it out with the decks that I have that uses this card. But when I did use this card, it was a long-term thing. I never used it like once just for me, but whatever. The developers don't want you to get back health, comebacks. If you're going to come back, and come back some other way. That's why they nerfed both of these cards right here. So that's their decision. Now back into stuff I do agree with. Putting Sluggerfish up to 4. I think that's a nice little move right there. But I actually think a more effective, right, would have been actually have it start off at 0 attack. Just me personally. I think this card can be nerfed even more. Like, just for me, guys, I use the card, and I mean, this definitely is going to hurt stuff like Battle Mages. It's going to hurt with, you know, the combo with Crystal Tower Crafter. Everybody knows the combo. You put down Crystal Tower Crafter, the next turn, on your 3rd turn, you put down 2 of these in each lane, and you're good. The only real weird thing, too, is they actually increase the cost of this. So it's like for the beginning players who don't have to level up really high to get them into these versions, it's going to be kind of hard to use this card. So basically, you're not going to want to use this card until you actually level it up, guys. So like if you're a new player watching me, and so as my videos are aimed at the newcomers, don't even bother. After this patch, don't even bother have this in your deck. Don't bother have one. Just wait till you have 2 of them. People are still going to play these, but right now, I still think they're going to be able to snowball. But by turn 4, the developers are saying that there'll be more cards in the field being able to take care of these. I've already said in the past, and you guys will see from other videos, you can take these cards out. Like, I hardly run into a situation these days where people are not prepared for these cards because they're using so many decks. So people are usually prepared by their 5th turn. They already have them off the field. The only big thing about them is that people have to focus on these cards, so they can't just let them sit there. But if it's anything like a lightning bolt, a freaking fire bolt, that's from lead intelligence. There's an arrow you could get from strength. You know, the silence you could get from endurance. So there's lots of different ways to execute. If you're lucky and have execute on your 1st turn, but execute can't kill both of them. But there's lots of ways to deal with them. Garden. But it is dangerous. It is dangerous. And like I said, I could see another nerf to this, but the nerf that I gotta see how this works out in gameplay, because I still think I'm gonna be able to use this card just fine. I really just do. I think I'm gonna be able to use it in my decks that I've already used it in before. I don't think I need to take these out of my decks that have them. That's what I'm trying to say here, guys. It's not a card I think like, now it becomes so unplayable. No, this is just a rebalance, and I guess that's what they wanted to do. They were gonna rebalance it. If that's what they did, and there were some people calling for nerfs, like I said, even if it started off with 0 attack, I think I would still use this card because I found plenty of ways to make it useful, and I will keep using it. Here's one that I kind of just got to disagree with, because I think the people's problems with this card was more or less the fact that, well, you could do 2 in a row. Like, you could put down 1, then you put down another 1, and then you got another creature. Changing the cost up to 6 and making it so that you could summon a creature that's 6 or less doesn't really stop people from doing that. Now, if they wanted to, what they should have did to address the people who didn't like when you could do 2 in a row, it should have been 6 Magicka, but it said 5 or less. It would have kept it at 5 or less instead of 6 or less. By doing that, you couldn't do 1 Soul Marsh and then do another Soul Marsh. You would only be able to do 1 Soul Marsh, then another creature. That's what I thought would have been a little smarter move to alleviate the problem that a lot of people said. Like I said, I've seen that. That's like, when usually, I won't even lie, man, when I see that happen, I'm like, God damn, this is like That's two 4/4 creatures, and then on top of that, another creature. At that point, I have a hard time taking care of that. So I'm hoping that I'm playing Willpower, and I'm hoping to have a Dawn's Wrath, because at that point, that's the only thing I'm kind of hoping that happens. But I understand why they did it. It's a rebalance. I wouldn't even call this a nerf. Truthfully, would not at all. It's just going to be funny to see how it plays out in game. I guess there's going to be more chance of people having stuff to deal with this at the turn 6. Because, I mean, once again, if you're playing Willpower, you're going to have Immortal, you have Blast. Endurance on their next turn, they could have something like I can't remember the name of the dragon. The one was freaking can't be destroyed by actions, by targeting. So he could be there as a way to block that lane, maybe take out 2 of them. But I will see. I'll put it like this. If nothing else, I don't play this card very much, just personally. It's not saying there's nothing wrong with the card. It's just something I personally don't play because I don't build decks around like that type of his strategy. But I am actually more interested to play him now, just because with every other balance change, I just started thinking of some stuff I want to do with it. I might try. It's so weird. Even though it costs more, I feel like I want to play it more. That's weird. I don't know why. Just my general opinion here. I'm pointing at the wrong thing, so this one. Anyways, His Grove. His Grove is quite obvious. I think everybody expected this one. Yeah. You get the damn Leviathans on your turn. So it's not the instant you get 15 Magicka. Boom. It's on your turn. Now it changes things up. I think this was a smart move. I understand why some people who play these cards will be kind of upset just because of the plain simple fact that now these cards are not that great early on, because if you play too early and somebody gets rid of them, that kind of sucks. If you wait to the last second, the developers explained it why they did it, and I don't blame them for doing it. I can't complain about this one. I expected it to happen eventually. I really never had a big problem with His Grove, because I'm just one of those players that have a lot of removability for like cards, especially when I'm like, because I know what's going to happen. I try to stop this shit. Like, I very, very rarely lose because of the fact those Leviathans came out. If it gets to that point, like, I've already messed up. Like, that's how I feel. Like, if it gets to the point where my opponent already has 15 Magicka and he has 2 of these on the field, I've messed up. So, I've had ways to deal with them in the past. I don't blame them for changing this card. I'm not upset about it. It's a fine rebalance. People will work around it. And overall, it's so weird. It's like a 50-50 change for me, guys, because let's just look back at what I said right here, guys. I think Crystal Tower Crafter is perfectly fine. I think that's a fine rebalance. As somebody who uses it, somebody who faces it, I think that makes sense. And I'm okay with it. So, perfectly fine. Dune Smuggler. I didn't expect this shit at all. Like, who would have thought this would have happened? So, I'm very disappointed by that. Pylon Tribune? Come on, man. Was this card, like maybe I just was not facing enough control mages that, like, this thing was making that much a comeback. I used it, but I don't feel like it was always a card that made me come back and win the game. It helped, but it wasn't the reason. So, and the constant nerfs to health cards actually does turn me off in a weird way. But, hey, I'm new to these digital card games. Like, I didn't play Hearthstone, so maybe this is something how all these games play. Maybe they don't want you to gain back a lot of health. I don't know. Maybe just I'm new to this stuff. The necklace, kind of surprised. It almost makes this card not playable for me. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to get in there and see. No problems with this. That's fine. Like, really, like I said, it could have even nerfed more or rebalanced more. So this is fine with me. Like I said, I think they didn't fix the big problem that a lot of people had with this. And this is people. Like I said, I've run into it, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But I'm disappointed for the other players, because the other players have a lot of issues with this. And last but not least, His Grove. It's fine. It's just gonna be funny to see how everybody changes up their decks, because there's a lot of decks built around His Grove. There's lots of decks built around Marshall. There is way too many decks built around, well, these fishies right here, powering up really quickly. I don't think there was any decks built around these necklaces, so I don't know about that. Pylon Tribune, I don't think there was decks 100% built around these guys, but they definitely were part of the decks that helped out. Lots of decks to build around Crystal Towercraft are getting pumped up, so they targeted very specific decks, but maybe not overall meta of the game has changed. I don't think enough has changed here. Like, now let me go into where I just think the game needs to go. I think another bigger problem, though, which a lot of people have problems right now with the aggro cards, is why hasn't there been no changes to some of these mass, wipeout, like Ice Storm, like that could be changed to 5 instead of 6, or maybe add new cards that have a lower cost that could deal with more creatures in one lane. Like, I don't. That's my problem. Like, like there's so many aggro decks right now that will win by 5 turns, 5 and 6 and 7. So if you don't have a way to do mass destruction to creatures by that time, then you're really assed out. But I guess they don't want to change some of the stuff like Dawn's Wrath, Ice Storm. I guess they don't want to change that because they're already made. So maybe they'll incorporate new cards down the line that do different type of one lane destruction. Or, well, I guess there is oh yeah, let me go back. Let me go back. 1 second. There is this card right here in. I can't go. So the reason I'm on Legends decks is obviously the game's under maintenance right now, so I can't actually be Firestorm. There's Firestorm, which deals 2 damage to all creatures in the lane. Like, maybe buff this up and do, instead of a lane, 2 lanes, both lanes. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could be done. I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do next, because this has changed the game up. But I sure as hell don't think it's gonna stop all the aggroedness. Not at all. For the people really complaining about that, it's not my number one complaint at all. What I will say though, guys, this is the funny thing, and I was thinking about this before I made this video. This changes, right? These changes that we have just received in this letter from the developers has encouraged me to stick with my aggro decks instead of sticking with my Pillar for Monk deck, which is my main deck, my Legends deck I've been playing with all this time, because a lot of the cards that, like, the Dune Smuggler and those cards right there, kind of sucks losing those stuff. And Dune Smuggler, Pylon Tribune, all these 3 cards right here are all part of the reasons why I've been able to use those decks for such a long time. Now, with those cards kind of being not working in my favor anymore, that deck can't be used. But right now I've been playing very heavily with a very aggressive Orc deck, as you guys have been seeing on my channel. And that deck has been winning. That deck has been winning a lot. Oh, hold on. That's not what I was trying to show you guys. I actually have been taking photos of my. As you guys see, that deck, this Orc deck I've been playing has been winning like kind of crazy right now. So I'm like, hey. They didn't do anything to these cards. None of the cards that I'm currently playing in this Orc deck that keeps on winning in rank and casuals has been nerfed, and it's going to keep on working pretty well. It's probably going to work even better against stuff like Crystal Towercrafter, which I had problems with before. Now I know I don't really got to worry about Pylon Tribune, I guess. I don't really got to worry about the Fishies as much. So for me, I don't got to worry about, like a lot of the stuff. So for me, the aggro decks might be even a little bit better. More play. Maybe I'm gonna start playing my stuff like the Gardener Sword item aggro deck again. Like, those decks that I have that are aggro that I don't play as much might have just become better for me. And it's funny because you guys have seen me play. I kind of like mid-range control or late game decks, just because I feel like I want the matches to last longer. I just enjoy playing the game, so I want them to last. But then I started getting into these Orcs decks finally, literally just this past week, and they're like really fast and they win so consistently. And I'm like, the Gardener Sword decks, they like when they win pretty damn quick. But I'm like, is this what the developers want? People like me, who normally would play the mid-range, the long game, try to play with endurance for the late game win. Do they want us to be encouraged to play faster, play quicker to get the match over and move on? if that's how if that's what if that's what I'm getting from this game right now, as someone who's new to these digital card games, that's really weird for me, because if I can say one thing about playing the orcs, I win, as you guys saw, I win, but I'm kind of bored. The strategy is very simple. The quick strategies, I always felt like the super quick aggro strategies are kind of boring. I don't know why. I don't know why, but hey, if I want to keep on playing the game, keep getting more cards, collecting all the cards, I'm going to have to keep winning to get gold to keep playing. Or maybe I'll just go back to playing Arena. Who knows? Nah, I won't go back to playing Arena, because Arena has problems. Like, you guys know I have problems in Arena, man. Like, my opponents will have like fucking 3 legendaries, and I will go through the whole entire drafting and not even see a damn legendary. I'll see one. I'll see one. You know me, my luck. But I have horrible luck in versus Arena. Soul Arena is fucking easy as hell, though, for me. The AI is just complete. Can we get a change to the AI behavior for Soul Arena? It's completely, utterly just aggro. Attack, attack, attack. Yes, we could completely take advantages of that as players by making an anti-aggro deck, but it'll be fun to have the AI play some other type of way. But right now, we're still in beta, so we'll see. Right now, I'm just rambling, so let's end up this video. Let me know what you guys think about these big new changes in the comment section below. Oh, I can't wait to see what the game's going to be like after this patch goes live. Till then, peace the heck out.